Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Elizabeth Chance with Elizabeth Chance Podcast, Busy Living Sober. That's me. It's episode 335. Welcome, everybody, to episode 335, where I'm going to talk about expectations. I'm going to talk about Valentine's Day. I'm going to talk about self-esteem. I'm going to talk about all these fun things. But before I start, I want to thank our sponsor, SoberLink. Imagine that you've just gotten sober. You're working your program, checking in with your recovery coach, maintaining employment and wealth, thriving. Now imagine one of your closest friends or family doesn't believe you. So much trust is lost during active addiction, and it can be hard to convince loved ones that things are different, that you're different. SoberLink can help. SoberLink's remote alcohol monitoring system is designed to help you sustain a sober lifestyle while rebuilding trust with loved ones. Small enough to fit in your purse or your pocket and discreet enough to use in public. SoberLink devices combine your facial recognition, tamper detection, and real-time results so friends and family know instantly that you're sober and working towards your recovery goals. As a certified recovery specialist myself, I can't think of a better tool to maintain accountability, strengthen community, and prove sobriety to loved ones. Make 2023 a memorable one and visit www.soberlink.com/BLS to sign up and receive $50 off your first device. How awesome is that? $50 off. Thanks again, SoberLink. Okay, so it's the day after Valentine's Day. It is Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. I'm late because, yesterday was Valentine's Day, and I have been crazy busy with everything in my life. We sold our house. Thank you, God. I don't have a house to move to, so that's a little stressful, but it's okay. I'm going to let go. I have an apartment. I'm just going to stay here till I find the right place. But last night it was Valentine's Day, and I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, as your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or whatever takes you out. And so I'm just going to set up the day. For one, yesterday marked 6 years since we got engaged. JF and I got engaged on Valentine's Day. As cheesy as that may seem, we did. And so yesterday he got up and he was like, oh my gosh, get dressed, we're going out. And mind you, I've had 2 guests back to back at my house, and having house guests, I absolutely adore having house guests. I think it's so much fun, but it's also tiring, right? So you're exhausted. And I had a test today for school at 8 o'clock in the morning because I'm finished. Next week, I graduate from my health and wellness certification course. So I'm going to be a certified health and wellness coach. On top of my recovery coaching and life coaching, I'm doing the certified wellness thing, which has been 6 months. And so needless to say, I've had a lot on my plate. Oh, and we made an offer on a house yesterday. And so he said, get dressed up and he's like, put on something sexy. Well, for those of you that know me, know that I'm not really that sexy, just to be honest. I wear t-shirts. I'm pretty conservative. Put on white jeans and something sexy, and we're going to go out somewhere. And I was like, okay. Well, in my head, I was like, I really just want to go get a massage. I just want to go relax. I just want to go to dinner, get a massage, come home, be in bed by 10 p.m. Because again, I have to be up at 8 a.m. and ready to rock and roll in this course. So we get in the car and he puts on the navigation. He's like, be ready at 5:30. And I'm like, okay, maybe we're going on a boat ride. I thought, what are we doing? We get in the car and we drive 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 for like an hour. And we start to get to this place and I'm like, what are we doing? Are we going to a concert? Are we going to a concert at a skating rink? And I'm wearing like a sleeveless shirt. Are we going to Andre Bocelli? And he's like, yeah. It's like, oh my God. No, I'm not excited. I'm like, why would you do this? Oh my God, why would you get tickets for this? I have so much going on. I'm an hour from home. I've got to get up in the morning. I am not in the mood to sit here and listen to opera music. I'm just not. I just want to chill out and do nothing. I just wanted to veg you guys relate to that? You just want to veg. You're just like, I've been talking, and then this is gonna be over at 10 o'clock, and then I've got to drive an hour to get home. It's 11 o'clock. I have to unwind. Now we're at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. We didn't eat dinner before we got there. And as I just mentioned, I'm doing this health and wellness coaching, which means I eat healthy. We know there's nothing healthy in a stadium. Let's be honest. What's healthy? Popcorn? They didn't even have popcorn. And does that ever happen to you that you're just like, your spouse or loved one set something up and you're supposed to be so excited, and at the end of it you're just like, really? Why did you think I would like this? Why did we do this? Do you know me? Do you know what I like to do? Did you have any read on what had been going through the last couple of days? We just put an offer on a house. Our house is sold. We have to go pack it up. It's like we're moving along, and I'm like, I was like so disappointed, right? And so I said it to him, and I'm like, I can't believe you did this. Why did you spend the money to do this? This is the last thing I needed to be doing is coming to a concert when I have school tomorrow. I have a test tomorrow. I should be kind of studying the way, whatever, for this class. I had this test today. I did pass the test, thank God. But when I first got on my call, I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And, you tell somebody, at least, let's even say it's a friend. You're like, well, I'm really kind of bummed that we did this because this is not what I wanted to do. For one, I don't like surprises. I've decided officially at 54 years old, no more surprises. No bueno, no more surprises. It's not fun. Surprises are not fun. I think a surprise party has been fun that he's done, but like going to do something like this, it's like find out if I want to do it. It's a big commitment going to a concert, especially like something like that. Like Andre Bocelli's perfect on a Sunday morning. It's perfect when you're just wanting to relax and be romantic, but to go sit there when you've been having house guests and you've got all this stuff going on where you can't even relax, you're like, this is not relaxing. It's just not relaxing. I had so much on my mind of what I had to do today and all this stuff on my head. And I was like, okay, this is just, we aren't in the same place, babe. And I told him that, and whether or not he was happy, he said, it's okay. It's okay. But then it made me feel like an asshole, right? Because I'm telling him how I feel. And then I go back to that self-loathing and that self going, oh my God, you're such an asshole, Elizabeth. I can't believe that you talked to him like that. Why didn't you just tell me you liked it? Why didn't you just lie? And I couldn't lie. I had to be like, this is really fun. No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't say that. I had to be like, what are we doing here? So do you know what? When they had intermission after 20 minutes of singing, they had a 20-minute intermission. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. At that point, it was 9:30. So of course we still didn't get home till 10:30, and I still didn't go to sleep. But it's just like, why do surprises aren't that fun anymore? I don't know. Surprises for other things are fun. I just don't want those kind of surprises. Can you relate? I was talking to another friend of mine, and she said it was so funny. Her friend, this friend of mine's friend, she lives in California, showed up, the person she's been seeing, and he shows up and he's like, here's a rose for every year we've been together. And she's like, I freaking hate roses. What are you doing? It's like somebody showing up with baby's breath, right? Like, I'm sure there's somebody out there listening to this that likes baby breath, but I don't like baby's breath. I don't like carnations. I'm like, don't bring me carnations. It's not even worth the money. Don't even do it. I'd rather have you bring me lilies but that's my jam. We all have our own jams. And instead of like, it just lets us down. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so bummed you did this. I'm like, I totally relate. This is what I did. And we're embarrassed to tell the truth. We're embarrassed to say, oh my gosh, this is not my jam. We're embarrassed to say that because we don't want to let somebody down, and it makes us feel bad to make somebody, and then it makes us feel like we're an ogre or we're a bad guy. I wrote it last night when I was going to sleep. I'm like, I'm just such an ogre, and I don't want to be an ogre. I want to like myself. I want to have I want to be like totally authentically like myself. And when you are mean to somebody, like that. You're just like, dude, it doesn't win. It's like a dead, it's like bad. It's bad. And I know for many years, like when I was married to my first husband, it was Christmas and he thought it was like he was so excited to give me these presents. And they were all matching appliances. They were all Kelly Green, a toaster, a can opener. I don't know, things that plugged in, and you were just like, "Oh my God, are you kidding? This is what you're gonna get me for Christmas? Small appliances for my kitchen, and I'm supposed to be excited." I'm like, "No, that is not exciting. That is like I'd rather put. I don't want appliances for my present. I don't want to go sit in under which in a stadium that's freezing cold on Valentine's Day night with a million other older people. I just didn't want to do it. Eating like hot dogs and like the vegetables were like, they had like wilted, like you would find like, is this like is this like prison food? Didn't think that was funny. I did. I thought it was kind of funny. He's like, well, I've never had prison food. I'm like, well, neither have I, but this must equate to what prison food. Like, such bitch. I'm just such bitch. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because let's face it, life is just a bag of a ball. It's just so fun. It's been interesting. I'm trying to change the name, as you guys know, of my podcast, and I'm doing these daily reels, which I don't even know I should do daily reels. Are you supposed to do daily reels? Should I do a reel and then a story? I don't know. I'm going to maybe do a story today. I have no idea. All this whole social media thing and getting recognized and pulling up my numbers, all this stuff is so foreign to me, and it's not my thing of like what I want to be doing, but I'm doing it anyway. So anyway, I tried to change the name of my podcast. So I was going to do Elizabeth Chance, Busy Living Sober, and have my name first instead of Busy, because it's been interesting. I've been busy for my brother's 46 years old. He'll be 47. He couldn't say Elizabeth. So I've had the nickname Busy since I was 8 years old, a long time ago. And I don't want to be busy anymore. I like being, it's cute every once in a while, but with this business and with this podcast, I want to be more serious. I want to be Elizabeth. I want to be Elizabeth Chance. I don't want to be busy because busy's like Buffy and everything else. I just want to be Elizabeth. And so changing this, has been difficult because I don't know how to do technical things. Hence, last week when I had, Anne-Marie Raleigh on, who was awesome, by the way. I loved her. I listened to her podcast still that she did with me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so calming. But I went to the studio and filmed it in the studio, and it was great and everything. But it was like, people were like, I don't think it was any different sounding than it normally is. I was like, okay. Because of course I went there and these guys are like, oh yeah, we're going to make it. It's going to be amazing. You're going to sell it. It's going to be great. And I'm like, okay. And then somebody said, well, it sounded the same way it did the week before. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then why am I going to spend all this money to do that? It's interesting. We think we need to spend money to make things better. Like if we spend a lot of money, it's going to be so much better. But it's never the case. It's like I've been doing this podcast for 5.5 years. It might almost be 6 years at this point. I've been doing this podcast for so long in my apartment or in my house with my computer, with headphones like this. I know when I do anything fancier, like Henry was like, use this Yeti microphone. I was like, okay. I tried to use the Yeti microphone, and let me tell you, I have no idea how it worked. I was like, I don't know how this works. And people would write to me and say, you're echoing. And I'm like, oh, I am? I'm echoing. Okay. Not good. It's kind of interesting, right? I've been doing it with just this, and it just works as well as it's supposed to work, I guess. I'm not so like, I don't know, it's kind of funny. I'm not so techie. I'm not so fancy. It's just Elizabeth and her mic and her computer and sometimes a guest. And so anyway, I wanted to change all this stuff. So I go and I change my podcast. I go on the website and I do that. And then I try to go to iTunes and Spotify and change the name on those two things. And I don't know how to do it. And then I just get frustrated and I ask my child who knows how to do all these things. And he's like, I'm too busy to help you. really, really, you're too busy to help me. How many people that are listening can relate to this thing where you're like, I was a mom for your entire life. I was there for everything you needed. And now you're launched and you're like, see ya, I'll call you when I need ya, which isn't very often. And you've been like, we're a parent on steroids for decades, most of your like probably best years of your life. You're a mom and doing everything the mom needs to do. And then you're 50 something and they're gone. You're going through menopause and you're like, really? This is my life. I'm 50, middle 50s. I'm in the back nine of life. Let's just face it, because I don't know. Am I going to live to 108? I don't know. I doubt it. That would be double my age right now. And so here I am. I'm in the back nine. I gave them my best years of my life. They are too busy to talk to me. They're too busy to have their own lives. And it feels like shit. And I had a friend call me the other day and she's like, I went to this party and they were the people that were just a little bit younger than us. Their kids are just in high school. And these ladies are all drinking a ton and eating edibles. And she's like, it's the craziest thing. You should see this. They're eating edibles, these edibles. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even imagine. Okay. Having an edible. I can tell you this, when I was drinking and I smoked weed, for one, I normally only smoked weed when I was already drunk. So that would lead to drinking and projectile vomiting in my case, which is not a very pretty sight. And it was just terrible, terrible, terrible. Every time I drank and smoked pot, it was just like, oh my God, I can't imagine. So imagine taking these edibles, and for one, you don't even know what's in them, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna eat this thing. They say it's low octane or it's high octane. I guess there's all these different names for them. And you're like, I'm going to eat one of these and I don't really know what it is. And I pray it doesn't do anything to me. But then you take one, and I have a friend who took one and they were like, oh my God, he was like, I took one of my friends. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I took it and oh my God, I got into the bed. I had spins. I didn't even know what I was doing. And that's the thing. You don't know. So you're going to go and eat this thing. You have no idea what it is. And you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to eat this thing. I'm going to eat this edible that somebody gave me because everybody's doing it and it looks like candy and it should be good. And you're like, oh my God. Thank God that shit wasn't around when I was younger. Thank God. Because let me tell you, I would have done it. And now, 16 and a half years sober. I'm so glad they didn't even have stuff. There was nothing fancy about marijuana. It came from like your backyard or somebody you knew in high school was like, you want some? And who even knows if it was real? It could have been oregano for all I know. And, but then, you have people now, I have to say the rave I've heard is this like taking mushrooms. And somebody called me and say, why don't you take some mushrooms? It'll do a whole number for you. It'll change your life. It's going to take away all your old problems. I'm like, really? It's going to take all my problems. I go do these psychedelics. I'm going to tell you, I never did acid in my life because it wasn't that I wasn't offered it, but I was so scared because I'm like, I've always known that I've had crazy thinking, but now it's like I was like, the crazy thinking that I've had, you're going to go have me take acid and I'm going to lose my mind. And then it's done. I'm off to the crazy bin for the rest of my life. And now you're going to tell me that I'm going to take this and you're going to make sure that I'm going to be okay. Again, no idea what's going to do to me, but I'm just going to take it because it worked for you. Okay, great. Worked for you. So it's going to work for me. I don't think so. No way, no. I'm an alcoholic. I go big or I go home. It happens with everything. I swear to God. I try to like do things just a little bit and it just doesn't work. I just like to do it all the way. And this has been, it's crazy. It's crazy, these things that people, I'm just so grateful that I am just like, I am free and clear of alcohol and any other drugs. Because I think that when you drink, your inhibitions go down, right? I don't think that. I know that. My inhibitions went down when I drank. So I would not drink. I mean, I would drink and I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. Give me this, give me that. I'll take anything you want me to take. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. I'm like a trash can, whatever you have, give it to me. It's going to make it better. Where's that high I had for 1 second? Oh, it's gone. I'm going to chase it through the rest of the night with all the rest of the stuff that you guys keep giving me. And I'm going to be like, I'm going to take it because I'm going to take it because I'm going to take it. What the fuck was I batshit crazy? I don't want to take anything. I don't want to go eat mushrooms and be like, oh, I'm going to go have this psychedelic thing and it's going to be amazing and change my life. Because what if it doesn't? And it's worse than what it is when I'm plain out sober. Life isn't easy. Whoever told you it was lied. But it's making fun of it. It's like we can't take it too seriously. It's like at this point in my life, I'm sitting here. I'm living in this teeny apartment. I have a dog that weighs 75 pounds that thinks that she's human. And if you don't pet her or get in her face, she's like, nudges you all the time. And there's no way to get away from her here. And she has no yard. So that's really fun. Not so much. But things could be worse, right? Things could be worse. I can get outside. I can walk around. Luckily, it's beautiful outside most of the time lately. And I can go for a walk. And I can go out. And I can go sit in a park. I can go sit on the beach. I can get out of here. So it isn't that bad. It's our thinking. It's our thinking that gets us crazy, I think. It's like we think gloom or doom. And all we want to do is be comfortable. At least that's me. And life isn't always comfortable. It's not comfortable. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm really sick of being scared. I'm really sick of it. Do you get what I'm talking about? Like this fear factor we have all the time in our society. This fear factor going on with the government. The fear factor with the TV. It's just I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like out. Do you want to ask me what's going on in the world? I have no idea. That's what I'm going to do. Tell you I have no idea, and it's okay. I was watching, I was getting ready for the Super Bowl, which I was so sad that the Eagles lost, but I'm really happy for Mahomes because he is just an amazing player. He's just amazing. He was hurt as anybody's business and he got it done. And for that, I think it's amazing. But I was getting ready for the Eagles game and I keep getting on Sunday, I'm getting like all these notifications on my phone, like, oh, we shot something down. We shot down a balloon. We shot this other thing down. I don't know what it was, but we shot something down and we shot another thing down and we don't know what that was. Is it aliens? What is it? It's like, oh my God. Do you want me to be scared now about aliens? Because for 5 seconds there, I was like, oh my gosh, aliens are coming. And number two, I was worried, like, is somebody going to go do something to the people at the Super Bowl? And I had friends there. I was like, no, I don't want to be scared anymore. I don't want to be scared anymore. What's scary? It's crazy. I was saying to somebody yesterday, I have this friend who also, this is a totally different friend. And we were talking about the end of the world and what could happen. And she's like, well, I want to have enough water and enough food. And I want to have it in my basement. And I want to have like some canned goods. And I want to have some ready meals to be ready. And I'm like, really? You do? You want to live like it's Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome? And I'm talking about the original one with Mel Gibson. No, bueno for Miss Elizabeth. No, thank you. If there's a light, I'm running towards it, not away from it. I don't want to be alone, like fighting for my food. Can I have my food? I'm going to fight for my food. I'm going to, no, 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 no. And is it that scary? Like, let's face it, I've had a lot of people that have died, including my mother. And so I have to go to heaven. That's not that bad of an idea. I'm like, okay, because this is crazy. All this craziness. I don't want to know. I do think it's sometimes better to keep your head in the sand. I don't need to know what's going on in the world. What happens if I don't know? What happens if I don't know what's going on in the world? I don't think anything happens. I think I stay status quo. I think I keep rocking and rolling. I think we all do. But I have no power. And that's what, getting sober and realizing I was powerless over all these things. I'm powerless over people. I'm powerless over alcohol. I'm powerless over what's going to happen, what isn't going to happen. I'm powerless over all these things. And once I realized that I was powerless, But I think as human beings, I don't know if it's as human beings or as Americans, I'm not sure, but we just want what we want and we want it now. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way. I wanted to wake up today and say, oh, great, I'm having this closing on this house and it's going to go off like a hitch. And I'm going to go from one house to another house. My furniture is going to go from one place to another place. And I'm going to unload and I'm going to be totally ready to go. And it didn't happen that way. I found out a couple hours ago. And I was like, okay, I guess it wasn't meant to be. It would have been easier, sure. But it wasn't meant to be. We hold on so tight for these things that we supposedly want. We want to make it happen. And we hold on tight and we're like, we want more, we want more. We want this, we want this, we want this. We want it to look like this. We want it to look like this. And it doesn't look like that. And we get bummed out. And we get depressed. And when I was a child, I even banged my head against the wall. I stomped my feet. I did all these things. But as a grown woman, it's accepting that this is the way it is. And I'm just going to let go to that. I have to just let go and trust that there is a better plan for me. And God's got something in store for me. And that is what I get peace from, is knowing that God's got a plan. And I have no idea what that plan is going to be. Because if you had asked me 5 years ago, I've lived in 5 different places in 5 years. And if you said at the end of those 5 years, you're going to be living in an apartment, I'd be like, no, I'm not. But guess what? I am. And I'm okay. And I'm not drinking. And it's all good. My dog drives me crazy, but that's the worst of my problems. It's okay. I'm passing this test. I went and I took a course at 54 years old for 6 months on Zoom, and I did it. And I participated, and I'm graduating next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I graduate. And for so long, I was like, when I first started taking it, I'm like, I'm quitting. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. And my son was like, Mom, you have to do it. I went and tread water for 2 hours. You can do this class. And he was right. And here I am. I wanted to quit. I wanted to be done. It's like, I don't want to do this. It's too hard. Nothing's too hard. I did it. I've checked all the boxes. I've finished all the tests. And here I am, 1 week away from having my health and wellness coaching certification. And it is such a gift that I've given myself. Because I had the power to quit if I wanted to, but I had the power also to keep going and keep doing it and walk through that uncomfortableness. It's only uncomfortableness. It's uncomfortable to wake up and find out that I didn't get this house that I wanted to buy. It's uncomfortable knowing that I'm going to be living in a teeny apartment with a big, humongous dog, but it's okay. It's okay. It's all going to work out the way it's supposed to, because it always does. I'm the one that decides if it's bad or good. Nobody else. Most of the time, it's good. It's pretty good. Even though I felt like a shmoo and an ogre last night. My husband still loves me, but she's Louise. I was just like, why would you think in a million years I'd want to go sit in the concert hall for 3 hours in the cold, whatever. That's all I have for this week. I hope everybody had a good one. I hate Valentine's Day. It's so stupid. Anyway, we did come to that conclusion together that we do not like Valentine's Day. It's a dumb holiday for everyone because it just sets you up for failure. It's so stupid because guess what? I love everybody all the time anyway. I love my kids. I love my husband. I love my friends. I love you listeners. I love my followers. I love I'm really blessed and I feel that today. And if you're listening, and you can relate, write to me. I'm always, always open to hear from you. I love hearing from you. It's Elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. And that's with a Z, ELIZABETH @elizabethchance.com. And chance is spelled just like that, CHANCE. Just take a chance. And .com. And you don't have to struggle by yourself unless you want to. Because I'm here and I will listen. I promise. And I will write you back. I promise. So remember, Rule 62, we can't take ourselves too seriously. This is just this ride we're on. It's called life. Woo! We have the peaks and we have the valleys. We have the peaks and we have the valleys. And, you know, my husband tried hard last night, but I just was no bueno. Busy Elizabeth Chance, no bueno. So again, thank you SoberLink for sponsoring us. And until next time, take care. Keep getting busy, living sober, or trying to live sober, or wondering about sobriety, or whatever it is you are on your journey. But keep coming back and listening to me, because I love having you guys around, and I love having you guys reach out to me, because it really does make my day. And I will talk to you next week. Take care. Bye.